Hey, so this is part two of the digital business card build out. So I need to deal with the second part of this. So I need to take a look at how am I going to get from the first page to when the person fills in their details, they click the button on the first form inside of high level. And then after that, we want them to get my contact information as well. We certainly want them also to get an email with my other ways to contact me and things like that. And so, I just thought I would walk through this one more time in terms of the overall flow. So the I meet a person. When I meet them, we then send their contact information. Hand them my phone and they fill in their contact information, or they scan a QR code, and from there they can fill it in as well. After that happens, we want them to be enrolled in a long-term sort of keep in touch series of messages. We also want them to get an email. I think the third thing isn't a call. I think it's SMS. So I think this is mischaracterized here. So I'm going to correct that as SMS. And what I want to happen now with the SMS, I want them to get a virtual card file. So a VCF is a pretty common thing to have happen, right? So you get a VCF that has the person's information, and whenever you touch that, it imports it into the context. But I've never done that before, um, so we will have to Google it and sort of fill in things and learn about that together. Typically where I've seen VCFs is if you have Outlook, you'll have a virtual card file. Um, and from that, it could have like your name, phone number, email address, etc. And so, yeah, inside of here, we would want to then, Google, create a VCF card. And so I was scrolling through here and just past the sponsored ads, I see right on top here, there's a free virtual card file um, maker. And so, right here, it looks to me like that information or that capabilities right here. Of course, lots of ads on the page for them to pay for things, but so you can add, name, um, any sort of suffix, work details, emails, phone numbers, home address, work address, and then in images and things like that. So it looks to me like we've got everything that we need here in terms of building out a VCF file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause for a second, sort of, take the opportunity to fill in, as much of the information as possible, and then, sort of come back, with the rest of this. And for anybody watching live, of course, you get to see this live as I go through, but the edited version will have, essentially this part jumped over, so that you don't have to watch me do this part. And then we'll continue with the rest of this, which then should be that we then want to grab and build out a second page, thanking them for filling in their information, and then also just saying, hey, all of my contact information should come in a text in 1 second or something. And so, here we're just going to have the thank you page and create a funnel step. And we're going to create from blank, and this would be a really simple page. I mean, it should just be, I think, right at the top, probably just my business logo. So I'm going to add in the image at the very top. Again, I always can find these things pretty easily until I'm trying to search for them, while I'm live. But click over here and go to logos, and think, yeah, why don't we just add that one, and then down here, we'll just add text. I don't even know that I need, all of this, but I think what I'm going to do actually, my contact information is on its way via SMS, and you should get a text in about 1 second. Additionally, I'm sending you an email so that you'll have all of my other information along with the ability to book a meeting if you would like. For anybody that is curious what that is, by the way, that was Super Whisper. It's a tool that a friend of mine turned me on to, and honestly, it's a great little tool whenever you're trying to just quickly dictate things. And yeah, and, and so that that's what that tool is. What I'm looking for is I would like the text to be slightly larger, right? Because you never know. Somebody could be on a device where they're looking at this and it might be a little small. And so, and so there's that. So essentially, that's when I look at this. These are the parts that are going to get published. Um, with that page, right? So it's a very simple form, and then there's the automation in the background will have to contain this VCF file. So that's, I mean, to me, that's the next most important part. So, I typically, just again, I'm going to go through this and fill this in. There's that organization, D3 Digital Media, title CEO. I don't know why they have title and role. That's kind of weird. Work URL. So that would be the company name. And I typically like to just, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I normally um, like to look up the full URL of the company. We oftentimes, um, you know, we'll have the www whatever, but the reality is, these tools and other things, they oftentimes need kind of that full thing. And so come back to the virtual card, paste it in there. Let's see, email address. And so that, not getting home phone, cell phone. Address. Think. No, I know I have a there you go. I know I have a text expander built for that. Personal images, logo. Maybe I will include the logo. Let's see. Logos, we'll have to go. Oh, wrong folder. There you go. I think that one will work. And shortcut for that. YouTube channel. Let's try that one. Don't have that handy, but easy enough to get. Weird, I can't clear away that screen either. All right. I just need my channel. So your videos, your channel. There we go. Always this way to route yourself on a video. There we go. And make sure this is what the public sees. For anybody that joined us late, I'm building a digital business card. This is the second video. I started it yesterday and then didn't finish, and so I'm sort of walking through the steps now. And yeah, for anybody interested, this is how it's done. So there we go. This says label. Hold on a second. So I filled that in where street went. Make sure that goes right. So that is business address. Phone numbers. So let's see, work phone. Go. And I think go there. Okay. I think we're all set now. So it looks to me like this is the card. That's what the card is. And I believe to do this, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT here because I don't know. I have these details for a VCF file. I need to know Let's see what that does. And it's going to do the two responses for me. Hopefully this one, giving feedback, it didn't do anything. Let me try again. I'm just going to copy all of this. Looks like it's stalled. Create VCF file. Okay, so just text edit and then, yeah, Don Davis VCF. There we go. Yeah, obviously you could just as easily put this in a bitly and then have it be that they tap it that way and they instantly get it. But it looks to me like SMS could say Don Davis. Yeah. Okay, so it's just saying it's telling me more details than I actually asked for, which is just, I mean, all I needed was how do I turn this into something? Um, so yeah, one of the things that um, so I'm on a Mac, and one of the things I've got to find is where is my text editor. So where is that window? And I need a new window. There we go. Looks like came up behind here. So come back and share the screen one more time. And this file is going to be called Don Davis .vcf. I need it saved somewhere that I can get to it. So I'm just going to save it back to the iCloud drive. Obviously, it's going to want to keep going back to its normal thing. Yeah. So the issue I'm going to have is that I'm going to have to clear away or change that extension in the end, which isn't very handy. But here, let's see this. This says begin card, blah blah blah. Okay, so that was the message for um, that was the previous message for ChatGPT. So I just changed that back. That's all I did. And then now I think I'm ready to save this file. So save. Um, and like I said, I'm gonna have to go back to um, iCloud and then change the file name. So that's what I'm doing on the other screen right now. Taking a look, rename. ECF. Okay. So I have the file now. Yeah, essentially it's this right here. So that file is saved. Now, the next sort of step that I have to do is build the automation. So remember, somebody filled in the first video, they filled in their contact details inside of a form, I think that was called Digital Business Card. And so now I'm going to create an automation inside of here. Start from scratch. Call it Digital Business Card. We're going to add a new trigger. That reminds me though, when they fill in the form, the two things we need, number one, we're going to need email address to be mandatory and also phone number to be mandatory. If I don't get both, then it's going to be a problem. And so let's say form submitted and add a filter. Form is, let's go find the form, digital business card, save the trigger. The next step, I want it to, let's see, send them an SMS. And that part, add an attachment. Now I can add that file. The one today, that. So there's that. I don't think I really need to say anything else. I mean, I'm standing with the person, so they got my digital business card. So there's that part. I'm gonna save the action here, then save the automation. So that's that portion. The next part I think is I do want to send them an email. And that, I mean, the other sort of thought that I have running through my head on this part is, should it maybe wait, like wait an hour or wait a day or, yeah, I mean, you're thinking this person, you're live at an event, you just sent them your business card and, or your virtual business card with your phone number and whatnot in it. In addition to that, there might be a reason to, sort of think of a way that you want to, um, just have it wait for a day or wait for a little bit of time before it sends the next message because it's going to have that other information in it, along with your contact us page and things like that. And so I'm just thinking through, what I want that next step to be. And I do think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add, rather than doing the email to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a wait step and have it wait at least an hour. Um, so that way it's not instantaneous. And then, uh, the rest of essentially the rest of the contact information, will go to them as well. Um, and then, look, if they do want within an hour, and maybe you do want this to, be instantaneous. I don't think there's, one right answer here. I think overall, it could be, um, that you want it to be I wanted that to be, hang on. That's what happens whenever I try and do two things at once. There. And, it- maybe you want it to be instantaneous. I wouldn't fault anybody for doing that. Um, so here, I'm going to use the Write with AI, and most likely I'm going to dictate in again. So, because I think, again, there's an opportunity to leverage the tools inside of high level. And so right here, you could type your prompt. So again, I'm going to use Super Whisper here. I want to send a thank you message to somebody that would be a brand new contact. And in this message, I just want to thank them for connecting and that it was great seeing them, because this message is for whenever I am live and face to face with them. And lastly, I want to provide some additional details about myself, and there will be a link in the email as well. And so, could you just write in that email? We'll see how this does. Sometimes my rambling, may not come across right, and I might have to do a little bit more correcting over here. Thank you so much for connecting with me. It was truly great to see you in person during the event. I appreciate the opportunity to meet and chat face to face. As a brief introduction, I'm passionate about, and then what I'm passionate about. As always, looking to collaborate and share ideas. Um, if you're interested in learning more about my work and background, I invite you to check out my website here, and looking forward to staying in touch. And so, I mean, that would be fine overall. Um, I invite you to check out my About Me page, link page. I'm going to call it my link page. So obviously, you've got to have that link page asset before you start any of this. But I honestly don't think I mean, I think there are more videos probably about creating it, but if anybody has any issues creating the link page, which I think is this thing, no. But this since this form is up on it, phone and email are mandatory that they're already checked here. But my link page essentially is this thing. So it's a page with a series of buttons in the middle. Um, you know, uh, where else you want people to be able to find you and locate you and things like that. So for anybody that's needing that, it wouldn't be a problem to go back and create that page live as well. But I just wanted to, yeah, just essentially provide the link to that page. So it's going to be this one, and then paste. Uh, didn't want to do it that way. um, so what I want is the actual link to go in there. There we go. Brief introduction. I'm passionate about helping companies get seen. Okay. And looks to me like that is it. So, um, yeah, I mean, um, so that's the automation that will run every single time, and then it'll have all of my information in here, and I'm going to use that email here. That will be the sort of last step. Now, the thing I'm not going over in this video series, and just don't feel like I can cover absolutely everything here, but I'm going to add a tag to them as a last thing as well, which will be my face-to-face contact tag. So I have a, wait a minute, that's weird. It should be F2F, keep in touch. Yeah, so essentially the last part that I had on the diagram was that I wanted to add them to an email sequence. And so if I come back to the diagram, right? So up here, when that happens, um, I want them to get that keep in touch email, right? Or keep in touch email series. And so with that, it's yeah, I need this part to fire, which should also have this page in it, right? So I think the place where this thing is linked is wrong, that it actually needs to go on this other side, which is part of the problem with the live build. But hey, I mean, that's kind of the way this thing works. So whenever I do the first email for face to face keep in touch, it's going to fire off and then have that. But this first email, this very first one, thanking them and whatever, is going to have just the link to that page, and then they can get to my business networking one sheet there. But I don't want to force people to have to go like download it or do an additional thing to get it. May as well just send that to them automatically. And so that's what this thing is going to do, is to fire off and send that off. So hopefully this has been helpful to people, in terms of, how this might work. The last part would be, of course, test it, make sure it works. And, if there are any issues, of course, I'll post a follow-up video. But, it looks to me like everything is all set in the automation and that I'm ready to go. That the next step for me would be, test it, make sure it works, with myself. And then after that, I'm ready for my event later. So thanks for watching.